Hello and welcome back to episode 13 of the Framed podcast. We've been doing this for 13 whole weeks now, which is incredible. We are joined by myself, we have Charlie and Craig, and we have a special guest with us that I will pass you over to now.
Hello, I am Adam, or Adam Reviews Film. I am also a TikToker, or started off like that, and I've recently gone into more long-form content and starting up my own website in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that.
Amazing. What we have done is we have pulled everyone together for what we like to call the community podcast. So we are going to discuss all things through film this week, getting some different ideas and reviews from everyone in the community. So what I'll do is I'll pass you over to Charlie. Charlie, do you want to go through what we're doing this week?
Yeah. So same structure as usual. We're going to jump into our news to kick things off, discuss everything that's come out this week, and then we're going to jump into a game this week, which is called The Long Decision, which we'll go into in a moment and explain what that is. And then, of course, we're going to take a deep dive into The Long Walk, discuss everything about it, what we thought of it, and our reviews.
Perfect. I think we all liked The Long Walk. Well, I hope we did. Yeah. I liked it. So I think that'll be a good one. We'll start with the news from the week then. That's an easy one to talk about. So we've had, I think it's decent. I think they're okay news. The things I've got written down, which we can just kind of roughly go over, is James Gunn has finally said he's doing Superman 2, which, if I remember correctly, it's coming out on your birthday, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, not too bad of a birthday present.
Yeah, nice. What are we thinking of that?
Excited.
Yeah.
We know that he's in the Kryptonian armor, so people have been teasing that we're going to potentially get a team up with them against Brainiac, which will be great. But, I mean, they're keeping the ball rolling, they're keeping it spinning, so good on James Gunn. So bring it on, to be honest. I think that's all I can really say, is bring it on.
I'm glad they're bringing Lex Luthor back. I think he was too strong of a character and an actor to, just dump him after one film.
Oh, yeah, they had to.
Yeah, but it is kind of crazy that we're getting two Superman films before Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not usually a Superman fan. I never have been previously, but James Gunn's Superman was the first one where I can truly say that I was a fan of. I think it's better than anything that Marvel have put out for a few years now. So the fact that we're getting a second one so soon after I think is really good. I just hope, given how quickly it is going to be, rather than a big few-year break, that the quality remains the same.
Yeah, that's what I hope for. But yeah, we're getting the projects, aren't we? We've got Supergirl, Clayface, and then to get this.
Yeah. It is interesting because obviously the first film is all about kind of Lex Luthor and Superman going at it. But if you are correct and they're talking about kind of like the Brainiac aspect of the story, they'll probably be working together.
Which will be...
Yeah, which is a weird thing to tie on from. But no, I'm glad to see he's coming back, because after you have such a, like you said, like a successful film after such a long time, you need to keep that momentum up. With the strong actors you've got, keep at it, because like I hate to say it, and I think we mentioned this before, like you've got Supergirl coming, but I think naturally it won't do as well. I think she's a lesser known character.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it'll keep it up, like doing well. Announcing Superman 2 already gives people hope for the future that it's happening.
Ironically, yeah, giving people hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's exciting times for DC. I think Clayface, all the production images they're releasing and stuff look great. That's something that I'm more excited for than, say, Supergirl. Clayface looks great. I hope that does stay.
That's a body horror movie. Which
Mike
is really
Flanagan
strange.
on that, which should be good. Yeah. I have high hopes for that.
Yeah, I was listening to someone talk about it the other day, and they were saying that like it's that theme suits Matt Reeves' the Batman universe more. So it's really interesting that James Gunn has gone like comedy colours, and then went, let's make a horror film straight away. But I guess if you're doing it that early, you like the audience can't be surprised that that's now this universe is going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm interested. It's weird, but I'll take it.
100%.
Yeah.
What else have we got? A difficult one. The first kind of official look at Doctor Doom. So there was that hologram that went up first, which didn't show a lot, and then there was like the poster that has like half of his body in it. I don't know if I trust them.
Yeah.
Because they did the same thing for Spider-Man, and it was for like if I remember correctly, it was for like a Disney cruise, and it's just not what we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's the closest thing we've got.
We did also get that very cryptic post from the Russo brothers with that blurry image.
I think it was meant to be a chalkboard, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what people have tried to decipher it as chalkboard. So that's the
They're
only
not
thing we've
giving
got.
much. They're not giving out much.
No.
But no, I think from the pictures of Doctor Doom, like, I'm actually happy with it. I was really concerned they were going to make it more Iron Man. But they've kept the gauntlets and the metal, and that's good. But again, I don't really trust anything. I don't think we probably will get a proper look at it. I don't even think when the trailer comes out we'll get a proper see.
No, I don't think we will. We didn't really get to see him in Fantastic Four, did we? So
no, not so.
That'll be interesting.
What else have we got? The next moneymaker, the first trailer for Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
That'll do well.
He'll do very well.
I think the it's not our cup of tea, if that makes sense, but it's a fun film. Mario is a fun film.
It was a very fun film.
Yeah. It's got great actors in it. Well, quote unquote. It's got big actors. Let's change my term there. It's got big actors in it, but it made so much money. So I'm not surprised that they're doing this. And they're doing the Legend of Zelda film as well. So I don't know if the end goal is to do like Smash Bros, which would be actually kind of cool.
I wouldn't be mad with that.
I mean, you don't make $1 billion without having at least some redeeming factors. Like the first movie was fine. You could pick it apart, but there were still elements that were good. And you can say that about every $1 billion movie post-COVID. There's even Lilo and Stitch this year. Like there's some redeeming factors there. So I'm hoping that it's not just a shameless cash grab of a sequel, and they at least have the elements of the game still in there. That's my only worry.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
They did it in the first one. The first one had like nods to like Mario Kart and like Luigi's Mansion and stuff like that. So they've got so much to play with. They can do it. It's just like it's always hard as like people like us to talk about kids' movies because I think we deep it and we're just like it's not a good film. And I'm like it also wasn't made for us. Like it is,
it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's all it needs to be. And the first one proves that it can do the money. So
yeah, it's not like a bit of a joke film like Minecraft, where, I mean,
I think they'll do another one of that.
Why wouldn't you though?
That's what I'm saying.
If you can make the money on it, why wouldn't they?
Tonight. Well, am I correct in saying that Steve is in Smash Bros at some point?
Don't know.
I don't know.
I might be wrong with that. He's definitely in a game like that similar style of game, but I don't know. Maybe if they do a Smash Bros, that'll be Jack Black and Chris Pratt as Mario. That'd be kind of crazy. This one is an interesting piece of information that I've got written down. Warner Bros. Is out for purchase, and Paramount are putting their bids in to try and claim it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, would that even be allowed to go through? There's weird laws. I'm not like 100% down with it, but about like competition.
So it's like the monopoly rule or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So like taking, because we've got 5 major studios, and that would instantly mean that there was only 4, and Warner Brothers are more often than not second to Disney most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you've got this giant conglomerate of anything that's not Disney at that point, and I think does that competition then become unfair because the third biggest studio underneath those 2, if they did combine, would be minuscule in comparison, and we've already seen how Paramount are starting to take good talent from elsewhere, which I think has been great. The Stranger Things writers and stuff. if they then got all the Warner Brothers talent on top, then it could become messy quick.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's become very messy.
Because people had the same conversation when Disney did it, but they did it in a smart way. They never bought studios; they bought like names. They bought Star Wars, they bought Marvel. They haven't just gone out and bought Sky TV or like, do you know what I mean? They haven't done that. But you're completely right. I think we were just literally just before we did the call, we were talking about how things like Warner Bros are doing so well this year already in films. First off, why is it up for sale? That's my question. But anyway, if Paramount did decide to buy it, you're right. Like you're taking the dominant seller alongside Disney, and then you're right. There would only be two markets. Would it still be called Warner Bros? Would it still be?
I don't even know where that money's coming from, because they've just done however many billion it was for South Park. You've got the UFC deal that they've just done, which was another few, like however many billion, and then they're paying the Stranger Things writers, and Paramount is smaller than Warner Brothers, I think, market cap wise. So like I honestly don't know how they would even be able to structure it. But if the news is out there, I think my experience with businesses, there's no smoke without fire. So there's got to be something that is going on. Whether we see anything actually come out of it, or if it's just to float Warner Brothers' name out there for purchase for somebody else to come in, it'll be interesting to see how that develops. For sure.
I assume it would be something like their contracts coming up in like the dates coming up, and like it probably isn't. It'll be expensive, of course, but like it's not going to be stupid money, and you just have the rights. Overall, it would still stay Warner Bros, but it's going to be in a Paramount company or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So overall, not much will change, but I also don't know. Like, kind of to your point, I don't really understand how they're going to be able to do that. You would think that Warner Bros is still big enough to just like repurchase it, renew it, and stand on their own 2 feet. They're fine. They are not a company that any of us have gone, cool, they're struggling. They haven't made anything good in a while. Like they're actually probably dominating this year over anything, I'd say.
What is it they're up to now? I think it's like the previous 8 movies have opened to over 40 million domestically in like the US. I think it is.
Yeah, they're doing very well.
And then you've got one battle after another next week as well. So they could make it 9 in a row. You've got Leonardo DiCaprio as like the number one guy in there, and obviously the first reviews that have come out for that have been that it's
incredible,
the best movie in like of the decade. So it could be 9, and then after that I think they've got a very good slate until the end of the year where they could just keep that run going.
Weird one, very strange one to see.
Yeah, very weird thing.
Interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's really anything else in news that you want to talk about. It's not been too exciting. Obviously, some of them things we mentioned are quite exciting to specific audiences, but it's not too much. We can move into the game that Charlie was talking about if you want. I want to give it a go. Okay, so we came up with this game yesterday. Going to warn you, with our extremely imaginative name, The Long Decision. So what this game is going to be is, for anyone that's seen The Long Walk or understands the concept of The Long Walk, the film has characters that each have a number. The process of elimination until you are left with the last number. What we have done is, to make that into our own game, is we have put 10 films of this year, given each of them a number, and we are going to discuss to rule it out until the final film. I guess there is multiple factors we can weigh into this of how we judge them. It could be down to money. It could be down to what we genuinely just think is the better movie. That's the fun of it, I guess. So I'll keep track of it. I don't expect you all to, but I will read you the films that we've got. So I haven't included The Long Walk. We haven't even discussed it yet, so that would be unfair to put The Long Walk into it. But I'll read you the 10 films of this year that will be battling out for the one spot. So for The Long Decision, in number 1 is Sinners. In position 2 is F1. Position 3 is Superman. Position 4, Fantastic Four. Position 5, The Life of Chuck. Position 6, Jurassic World Rebirth. Position 7, Ballerina. Position 8, Mission Impossible. Position 9, 28 Years Later. And then in last, 10th place is Minecraft.
Yeah.
Is there any that we can instantly say will lose?
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Obviously, well,
Yeah.
I'm just getting that out straight away.
That's getting
All right.
dragged
Let
behind.
me make notes of this because I'm going to have to write it down as we go. So in 10th place, we're already agreeing that Jurassic World Rebirth is out no matter what.
I think so. I know
Yeah.
it's made the most money out of all of those films, but Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies.
Yeah.
This is the first one that's not made $1 billion for ages, and it's quality wise. I think it was just as bad as like Dominion and all the other
I would agree with that.
we got. And for me, there's nothing that would make me rewatch that movie.
So this film is being judged not just on its money, but also how poor it is.
100%.
I think I'd agree with that. Okay, that's bad that can instantly. Any others that stand out for you that you are thinking of position-wise for?
I think Minecraft next for me.
I think it has to. I know it did well on money,
Yeah.
but when you're looking at it in comparison, it's it's not good, is it?
Yeah. No, the ones I've written down, when you look at them as like a battling it out, Minecraft doesn't stand close. But you are right. The money aspect isn't something that can be ignored.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm fine with them two positions. This is when it starts to become a little bit trickier, though.
I'm looking at how like I've ranked them, not based on anything else, and Minecraft would be the only other one that's like miles outside of like the top 20.
See, I feel like I know what I'd get rid of next, but I don't know if it would go down.
Is this how we're doing it then? We're going from bottom to top. That's a good way of doing it. Okay, so this is then 8th place, 8th position. Why? What are you saying, Charlie?
I would then say Mission Impossible, but I feel like that's a crazy hot take.
No, I'm with you.
I don't think it is, actually.
I think that massively let me down on a lot of fronts.
Yeah, I'm not mad about that. In comparison to the other films, I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot to be desired for me.
As fun as it was, to end that way, I think there was so many like exposition dumps and so much that it was kind of like crazy in there. That although it was fun, I think all the other films on the list don't have those glaring errors, and I think it comes down to like personal preference from the final 7, because I think the final 7 are all great in their own right.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. For me, and like this is my own fault, so maybe you guys will argue this. So that would make Jurassic World Rebirth 10th, Minecraft 9th, Mission Impossible 7th. Just because 8th. I'm not the fat 8th, 10th, 9th, 8th, you're right, sorry. I would put the next position for me would be 28 years later.
See,
but
I think
you're welcome to argue that.
Yeah, this is where there's going to be the little bits of debate where
Sinners F1, Superman,
I would also,
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, you've got Ballerina as well.
I haven't seen Ballerina.
That's my bad.
Okay.
I
imagine that'll probably go 7.
Well, I would have put Ballerina below Mission Impossible, but I can see why you would put it above. I cannot.
Interesting.
But Ballerina would definitely be 7th for me.
I haven't seen Ballerina yet.
See, I thought it was good.
I just think it was very much saved by its reshoots, because you could see they tried to shoehorn John Wick in a lot more than he probably was in the original story. And I think they probably tested it out on audiences who came out being like, where was John Wick?
Yeah, true.
Because it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I just think it doesn't live up to the John Wick franchise. And it doesn't really stand on its own like pedestal just because of how much he was then brought into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm okay then. Fine.
My argument.
Yeah,
I'm happy putting that in 7th, but then I would fight to put 28 Years Later next after that.
Yeah, that would be the same for me.
Because I think the other contenders, your F1, Superman, Fantastic Four, Life of Chuck, they deserve the higher spots.
See, in my ranking, I've got F1 under 28 Years Later.
Okay.
I would have had 28 Years Later as 3rd.
Wow. Damn.
Okay. Just on quality alone. I mean, I've got it as the same rating as almost all the other ones. the only one that I've got left that's below a 4-star is Fantastic Four, and I know that's a hot take because I know a lot of people enjoyed
I
it.
don't think it is, though. I don't think it is. I think we'll get to it when I think that's higher in the numbers. Fantastic Four as a premise is great. The actual outcome isn't. And that's what drops it off. So I don't think it is entirely a hot take. Compared to the others that you're looking at, it makes sense.
What's the rest of what have we got left?
Okay, so if we're not including the 28 years later that we've done, we have 28 years later, The Life of Chuck, Fantastic Four, Superman, and F1. Oh, and
Sinners.
Yeah, and Sinners, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be okay. Wait, what are we up to? What would the next one be? 7th or 6th?
This would be
10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah.
I mean, I won't argue it too much because I think it's a very polarizing movie.
I'd be happy to put Superman at 6th. Does that bring another hot take conversation?
I think that is, yeah. Because I'd definitely put Fantastic Four below Superman, but they're not far away.
I'd be opposite of that.
Okay, really? That's a good conversation.
I'd go F1, Superman, and then 28 years later.
What, and Sinners is what, breaching 4th?
Sinners is number 1, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think if we're all in agreement or close to agreement, like if 20 years later went 6, I don't think that's.
I wouldn't be. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would have it higher, but I get that people don't necessarily like the ending. Even like the majority of the movie, they're not like fully enamored.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't be mad about 6.
Okay. Well, if we decided on that, then you've got to remember that leaves Life of Chuck, Fantastic Four, Superman, F1, and Sinners. So for me, let me look at this.
For me, F1 would be next.
Superman for me. See, this is F1's my number 1 of the year.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar.
But the one hill that I will die on is that Superman has to be above Fantastic Four. I think it stands alone as like the best comic book movie of the year. I think to put Fantastic Four like as the best comic book movie given on this list because Thunderbolts isn't in there.
I think
what
should go next. I think Fantastic Four should go next, then Superman, and then we're in the top 3.
All right, I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm happy to have the 2 comic book movies next. That's fine.
So if I was to do it that way, it would make it from 10th place. So Jurassic World, Minecraft, Mission Impossible, Ballerina, 28 Years Later, Fantastic Four, Superman above Fantastic Four, and then all we've got left is The Life of Chuck and F1 and Sinners.
I'd go Life of Chuck.
Life of Chuck in 3rd place.
I do love that movie. I know Craig is obviously dealing with his dog, but I know he would have Life of Chuck over F1, and I wouldn't be too sad about that. But I think I'm on your guys' side. I've got F1. I think 6th of the year. I think that's the epitome of a blockbuster. Is what brings people to the cinema. I think it was so underestimated. People were like, it's not going to make its money back at the box office, and has then made more money than every single comic book movie, even Superman, and is still going, even though it's on Apple TV already. That just shows how good of a cinema experience. And I think that needs to be recognised, putting it.
See, I would put F1 and Life of Chuck neck and neck, because I really did love The Life of Chuck as well. Are we all in agreement that Sinners is first? Is that something we've just already agreed with, apparently?
Yeah,
I mean, it is for me.
Okay.
Like, I have in my ranking, I prefer F1, but
me too.
Sinners and F1 are like this, and I would just I just have more fun with F1 on a rewatch.
I agree with you, but I'm willing for the community to argue it into second. So does that make?
I would like F1 in second.
As long as Sinners doesn't drop below second, I won't
so
like
based off that logic. Based off that logic, 3rd place goes to Life of Chuck. F1 in second, and Sinners in first.
I'm not mad.
I'd love that list. But
That Sinners is the only 5-star film I've given this year. So
Okay, so unless we have any arguments, I will read you from 10th place. Remember, this is the long decision. These are films that will now be cut out. Remember that. That's the sad part. We are left with one singular film for the year. So in 10th place, first being cut out and dying, Jurassic World Rebirth. In 9th place, the Minecraft movie. In 8th place, Mission Impossible. In 7th place, Ballerina. In 6th place, 28 Years Later. In 5th place, Fantastic Four. In 4th place, Superman. In 3rd place, The Life of Chuck. In 2nd place, F1. And then the final survivor in 1st place is Sinners. 3 nods, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Sinners is number 1. Yeah, I'm happy.
Are there any other films this year that were in that argument that would have made that move?
I mean, I'm extremely biased, and I think I've spoken about this so much, but like from a veteran's perspective, I think Warfare for me is nothing's going to beat that for this year, because I've never seen something so true to life and show the pointlessness of war. And we see the glorification of Western troops so much in Hollywood movies. That's the first time I've seen it where it's not. And that moved me.
You wrote a very good. I really like your article on it. I think that's a great article. But I do think there are a few films on the list, and Warfare, again, brilliant film. Predator, Killer of Killers, incredible film. There are a couple, and obviously, we don't want to include all of them, but I'm happy with Sinners as number 1, as the best film of the year in that list.
That's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not that mad. I loved Sinners. I did really enjoy it. It's fine. Life of Chuck is, I think, still my number 1. He made it to top 3. I'll take it. Because we didn't add things like Thunderbolts in, like you mentioned. Captain America wasn't in there.
No,
it needs to be in there.
Okay. Well, I think that then, if we're happy with that decision, that takes us brilliantly into our actual discussion of The Long Walk. So we have now all seen The Long Walk. It came out today. We are filming this today on Monday the 15th. It would have came out on Friday just gone. We've all had a chance to see it. You now should understand the premise of what the film is about based off that game we played. I hope so anyway. What we would start with then is what we usually do for a film. We will do a countdown and we will all say our rating of The Long Walk out of 10. We screw this up every single time because I can't remember, I did this with a film a couple of weeks ago and I was so wrong. But it's fine. The Long Walk, rating out of 10 on 3, 2, 1. I'm going to say 8.
8.5.
Okay. So we're all in the higher numbers. That's the first
We're all high.
thing.
We're all high.
Who was the highest there? Who said, what was it? Did you say someone say 9 or 9.5?
Yeah, I said 9.
Yeah,
I
I'm
said
9.5.
Okay. Start with 9s then. Why is it nearly perfect?
Let you go, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, it's got just about everything in there, really. I want to word this properly, but the performances are incredible, but purely down to the subtlety of them. There's no actor that's like massively overperforming, but that's fine. It's the subtleties and the nuances of their performance that tell the story so well. And I think the decision to essentially, we don't really get much backstory for any of these characters until we need to, but that's what makes it so impactful. You don't know where these people have come from. You don't know who it's going to impact or what it's going to impact, and you go into it not wanting to create a connection to these characters because you do know where it's all leading to. If there's one thing you know going into this movie, you know that people are going to die.
Yeah.
Actually, that is the short of it, which is weird because something that you go into a film for is to build a connection with the characters, build a connection with the story, and you're not left with a lot of characters and a lot of story at the end of it. Yeah.
I think that's completely fair.
Did
you cry? Did anyone cry?
Yes.
Yes.
You did cry. Okay. That's okay. It's all right. No judgment. Adam, 9. You said a 9. Why?
Yeah, I think, and it's a testament to Stephen King just as much, but to be able to bring something like this to life is extremely hard. I think when you're dealing with dystopian universes, it's very easy for it to just feel like fantasy and not to be truly immersive. I think this is one of the only dystopian movies that I've seen where it and it's more of a state of how the world is today that I could actually imagine this being a thing and in the not too distant future. So that to me made everything that was depicted more unnerving, more disturbing, and left me like speechless towards the end. I think it's a very character driven movie. It falls with the performances, and like Charlie's touched upon, every single one is outstanding. And given that there's not many actors that people are even going to know the names of from the general populace, especially in like leading roles, that to me is incredible. I was familiar with the novel before. I've not read it, but I knew how it ended and things like that. So the subtle changes that have been made in the writing of the script, because the whole ending is different.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, I think it's done lazily, but I think it's been treated with real care this time, and actually has some pertinent messaging in today's world. And given that this was filmed probably a year or so, maybe even longer ago, to create something that does have such a strong message at the very end and leave stuff up to imagination. I think a lot of films hold people's hand all the way through to the end, whereas, and I'm sure there'll be some people that don't enjoy the ending because it doesn't hold the hand through, but I think given that space for people to sort of imagine how things would go from where it does end, I think it's great. I'm just hoping that there isn't an unnecessary sequel, because I personally don't think there needs to be one. I think it's very close to being perfect for what it is. So yeah, I think any movie that makes me unable to like process it immediately, I think shows that it's completely different to anything we've seen in a long time. And I think Francis Lawrence, director, he's obviously done Hunger Games movie. When he's given a bit more creative freedom to create some of the disturbing images that we see, I think he's done an incredible job. And what a choice to be the director. I can't say it enough. I think this is great. I've got it in my top 5 for the year, quite easily as well at this point.
I think I agree with everything you said. I don't think there's anything that I disagree with, which is crazy because I put it at an 8, and I still don't. I feel like I'm a bad person for giving it an 8. 8 is still really high.
8's high. Yeah.
Craig? What did you say? Did you say 8 or 8.5?
I said 8.5.
Okay, we'll go with you next. What did you like about it? What did you not like about
it? I'm pretty much probably going to echo exactly what Adam and Charlie said. I think it's one of those films where when the credits rolled, you just sort of sat there, just sort of in shock of what you watch. But you're watching just 50 guys go for a walk, and you think, oh, this can't be that impacting. But honestly, it's one of the most impacting films I've watched in a long time. The performances, you think, like, going back to the whole, they are just walking, but what's happening along the way, like the camaraderie, the friendships, and the enemies you make, and then the way that the story is for just guys on a walk is incredible. The fact that, like, it shows Stephen King's, because this is his first novel, like his first published novel, like in like the 60s, which is incredible. He wrote this in like college. And then, what Francis has done with a film. It's just one of those films, and it's very similar because it's another Stephen King novel, like The Life of Chuck, that both times in the last month I've just sort of sat there.
Yeah.
And it just played on my mind and hasn't stopped playing since. But the performances are incredible. I think David Johnson is one of the best actors working today. I think Alien Romulus, Ry Lane, and now this. I mean, this guy's going places. What I think a lot of people won't realise, and I didn't realise it until afterwards, is that this is Cooper Hoffman, which is obviously Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm blown away. I think that's the best way to put it. I'm blown away by a film about guys going for a walk. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Again, I think I completely agree with you. I loved it. I think very similar to the ways you said it. The simplicity of the concept is so simple, meaning everything is now elaborated through their acting abilities. So you're right. The end concept is just people walking. That's it. And being able to show such emotion and connection and friendship and hate as well in just walking, like it proves the acting ability, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
you touched on the lack of knowledge in who these actors are. Well, that's even better. Because these people are really able to show their acting abilities in such a simple thing. Like you start this story knowing absolutely nothing about these people and kind of end it still not really knowing anything about these people, but it's them really minor connections that you kind of fall in love with and you connect with. There are people that you actually despise and they do such a good job at making you hate them. And then other ways where you really hope they don't lose that person, but you know that only one can stand. They call themselves the Musketeers, and like
Yeah.
only one will survive, and you at the time don't know who it is. And I don't think anyone here, unless I'm mistaken, has actually read the book.
No.
So as Adam kind of mentioned, the ending is different, and I can imagine for some readers or viewers, if I say, maybe that was a hard twist because you're almost expecting it. But I think that last scene is really strong because it happens so quickly, and it really shows the growth of the relationship between them and how impactful that was for them to make them choices. You spoke about how it being like directed by the same guys as the Hunger Games, and you can still feel that. The Hunger Games was very set as like you got every part of the story. You saw the dystopian world and why it's like that. You saw the Hunger Games. You saw the poor and the rich, and then you saw the aftermath of the Hunger Games. Whereas this film only showed the Hunger Games, if that makes sense. You don't know what it was like before. You don't know what it was like afterwards, and you don't know why people were there. Leaving that to your imagination is what makes it so much better. I would agree with you in saying I really hope this doesn't need a sequel. It doesn't need a prequel. To leave it to the imagination of how this made you feel and how it made the characters feel is what makes this film so good. I think you mentioned about the ending of the film. It kind of leaves it to the interpretation of the viewer. I don't know how anyone else saw it, but the way I saw it is obviously we can speak about it now. There's no point in like there's no spoilers or anything, but like the ending of the film, he chooses to sacrifice himself, and then you see the moment where he grants his wish to have the carbine, and he has that bit of what do I do? Do I kind of stick by my moral standpoint and don't do it, or in respect for what is now his best friend, do I kill him? Basically, and after that scene, this is the way I took it. After he chooses to shoot him, he turns around and he just walks away. And I might be wrong, and maybe this is something that no one's thought about, but I think he's dead by that point. Because in that scene, he holds the gun up, and all of the military are like, point their guns at him, and he's like, whoa, 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 and they're all ready to kill him on the spot. There's also entire streets flooded with civilians, all cheering and everything. And I think after he fired and killed him, I think the rest of that army gunned him down. Because when he does turn away and walk away, there's no cheering, there's no people on the street anymore. He's not even shot at. I think the point of it is, and this is how I took it, is that he finished that mission, he killed him, and then he was killed himself, and him kind of the notion of him passing away and going is that he's still walking. And there's the lamppost at the end of the street, which was a big part of what he said about how like you're the only guy that can see like the light at the end of the tunnel, and that's how I took it. I might be wrong, but that's just how I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that perspective. I think that definitely could be it, and I think it's there to be that turning point in the history of this world where like we've seen it throughout history of mankind as it is today. Like when something like that does happen, the winner, and it's very much like the Hunger Games. So it's funny how even books can take sort of pieces of other books and put them together. Like when Katniss is about to eat the berries, so there is no winner, there is no beacon of hope. It very much feels like that. Obviously, this was written 30, 40 years before that, so this is the original sort of make yourself the martyr, so to speak, because obviously this competition is there every year to be that beacon of hope to the rest of what is left of America. So there is no uprising. So if that guy is shot dead after making a stand, well, what's the point of the walk? This guy's won after 300 odd miles and 5 days or whatever crazy thing it is, all just to have his wish granted and then killed for his wish, is how people could perceive that. And it's like, I think that's a really good, because I didn't think of it like that. I thought of it as that they just let him walk away because he was that beacon of hope. But now that you've explained that, that definitely feels like it could be true, because the civilians do kind of disappear, and that would be a really astute ending to the film. That like he's,
I think that's what's great about
you
it.
can't win, basically.
Yeah,
you're still controlled.
It's the same as the book. It's the book. He because Garrity walks away in the book, and that just ends like that, which is similar. But I think it does play on the interpretation, which is great. But what I do want to say is what is great about this is I know they're just walking, but they did actually put themselves through their paces when they were filming this. They did walk for long distances and really put their body through it, tire themselves out just so they can make it more realistic, which I think is great, instead of just, all right, now film 10 minutes of you walking in the trailer and we'll take you to the next place. They walked for a while, which is great, which really gave to it, which I think is really important. But I did not expect, I know you expected death, but I did not expect it to be that brutal in parts. I think obviously the first one we get to see is Jojo Rabbit, which I didn't realise until afterwards. I was like, oh shit, that's Jojo Rabbit. That was brutal. I thought, okay, we'll just, be behind the camera, but no, you see his entire face come apart.
I'm going to say,
and then
he was useless. Like, I appreciate he was 18, or they thought maybe he was like underage and lied about his age. He did like 4 miles. He had a cramp and died. Oh, yeah. That's with me. I was sitting in this and I'm like, oh come on, like you could have, like come on, like the other guy. After seeing how much the other guys really put themselves through, he really didn't put himself through anything.
But it does. You think it was a very emotional film. I know we spoke about it a minute ago about crying, but the bit that got me was when Baker is sat there with Garrity and I can't remember David Johnson's character's name. When he sat there with his arm around them both, and he's talking about like giving this cross to his grandma, and don't turn around. That got me, man. That really got me. I wasn't expecting it to, because I just thought you don't really build connection with these characters, but I really did, and I thought that was extremely hard hitting. Yeah. I don't know about you, Charlie. Where did you cry?
Honestly, it was what's his name? Hank. When he runs back to him.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Because it reminds you, while in the film you're with them for 2 hours, it's 5 days for them. But like 5 days of knowing someone doesn't seem like a lot, but it's 24 hours non-stop that they're building this connection. They become the only people they know. So yeah, when he ran back to him, and obviously just all the distress in that moment is, that for me
shows the friendship and the camaraderie, and like the story is really, really well written. Whether it's adapted a little bit by the writers, or from how Stephen King put it, it's incredible writing to make you build a connection with these characters. Also, the comedy in the film was really, really good. Like, it wasn't just lazy or useless. I thought, parts of the comedy were really quite good. When they were talking about their wishes and he was talking about, I'll have 10 ladies and all of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's funny and it's comedic relief in it. And I think, all of it just works and flows really, really nicely.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we all the same emotional bit for all of us, and the bit that it slightly confused me. So I'm interested to see how you took it. But if you remember correctly, he says he's like, "I'll know when I'm done when my gum's finished," and like he takes his chewing gum out of his mouth and he just looks at it, and in like the next scene, that's when he's like, "And I'm done." But when he is like on the floor about to be killed, he starts shouting. He's like, I can't remember the exact line he says, but he says something along the lines of like, "I did it wrong. I did it wrong." And like, I was still trying to figure out what he meant by that. I can't. It's either going to be he did it wrong because he took the chewing gum out of his mouth and that was the one rule, or that they all had kind of had that rough agreement that they were going to kill a guard.
I took it only because of like what the very next scene and the dialogue was. I took it that because he was married, like leaving his wife was the wrong.
Yes, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Because nothing had been revealed at that point. Because I thought he dropped his chewing gum, and I initially thought it was because of that I was saying it. But then the next line of dialogue was like, he was the only one of us that was married. So I think in that final moment, he probably flashed to his wife and just had the instant regret of like, he wanted the 10 naked women and whatever. Like he wanted all the riches and fortune, but in reality, all he really needed was his wife. I think that was his like final like dying moment. Was that realization? Was how I personally took
maybe
it.
He wasn't, and he wasn't saying it to the lads. He was maybe just speaking it into existence to his wife. That he went, maybe.
That makes more sense. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way. That does make sense. And I think that's what the beauty of this film is that everyone's going through their own thing. And I do feel like this whole film is in like your interpretation of how that person felt in doing this. Their reasoning, because they spoke about how like right at the beginning they were saying how like it was voluntary. But if everyone's done it, is it voluntary anymore? So yeah, I do think everyone has their own reasons and almost a sense of pride or a sense of courage or a reason to do it. But no, I think I'm glad we all enjoyed it. We were talking about how it's currently in cinemas and it's currently being overshadowed by other films, and I really hope it stands out. Very similar to how we talked about the Life of Chuck. I feel like again that's probably one of the films that if you watched it you'd appreciate, but so many people won't get a chance to see it or give it a chance. But no, I agree with what Adam said. I think this is easily in my top 5 of the year.
I think, unfortunately, in the day and age that we live in, I think when it does hit streaming inevitably in like a few weeks' time and people are scrolling through like IMDb or Letterboxd to see what's like the highest rated movie that's just come out and is on streaming platform, I think that's where it's going to find like a more mainstream audience. Same with Life of Chuck, like it's rated so highly because it is so good. But I think the marketing for The Long Walk has been so much better, so it has got out there more. But like The Life of Chuck didn't have a very good marketing campaign.
No.
If I wasn't somebody that goes and watches near enough everything, I probably wouldn't have seen it. But I think once it does hit the mainstream where people can just sit down and watch it at home, people will end up regretting not going to the cinema and watching it, and it might probably not, but hopefully have in maybe a decade's time like a resurgence where people want to watch it on the big screen, because it's one of those ones where I don't think if you sat at home like pausing it, going to do your own thing, like you'll do it justice. Like it needs
I agree with you.
In, and you sit in the weight of what you've just seen for that interpretation, because like the final point on it, like I'm sure some people will say that the decisions of people in their final moments kind of don't make sense. Like you've got Markovich and the guy that eventually does like kill the guard. Why did they do what they did when they were so like adamant they were going to win? But like the fight or flight mentality is in everyone, and I don't think anyone knows what they truly are until that moment comes.
Yeah.
The guy that killed the guard, I think, would have known internally, I don't have much more to give, so I'm going out on my terms. And his mentality was that fight, and he took someone out with him.
And then he took himself out, didn't he, with that other
Yeah.
gun?
So, like, he went out how he wanted to go. And I think that's why it weighed so heavy on me, is that each and every person reacted differently, because that is what humanity is. Everyone is different. And you've got some people, like the guy that snapped his ankle, walked, I think it was for another like 20 to 30 miles, to the point where he was pretty much walking on his bone. Whereas, like you say, you've got the other guy that had a cramp after 4 miles and just gave up. That is that is the difference in people. Some people wouldn't make it past 4 miles. Some people would be able to walk on a broken leg for 20 until their body does fail. And I think it's very hard to capture that, and I think that's why I'm so impressed, because of how well it has been.
I agree.
Yeah. I think it was a brilliant film. I'm glad we all enjoyed it. I hope people go and see it. Is there anything else you want to talk about on that, or does that sum us up beautifully?
I think that wraps it up really well.
Yeah,
I think it has.
I think that sums up well.
Yeah. Well, that probably brings us to the end of this episode quite nicely. Again, go and see this film in cinemas, because it is 100% worth it. I think you're completely right. Immerse yourself in the moment. Don't get distracted. Fully engage with the characters to get the most out of the story and the emotions. Thank you for Adam for joining us this week. I know this is a film that you were looking forward to, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. It would have been so much worse if you were looking forward to it and it was bad. So at least you did a good job. This episode, as always, will go out on Wednesdays at 6:00, and will be available on both YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, so you can listen to this anywhere. And that kind of sums us up, really. What have we got next week to look forward to, if anything?
What's coming out?
I think
I'll probably talk Demon Slayer next week. A little bit.
I think it's just a big, bold, beautiful journey, like Charlie said. I think that's the only big movie release.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We've got some things to talk about.
Him. I know.
Well, we can talk some Peacemaker and stuff and whatnot.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Adam, again, and we will catch you all within a week. Perfect. Thank you very much. See you later.